right, now we're getting to the real fascism.
And it's not that everything's 100%
the moment you waited for.
But today we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
That's not true.
That have no autism.
If you're less likely to take a vaccine, you are infinitely less likely to go get diagnosed by a medical specialist to see whether you have autism or not. That's it. That's the only reason. Oh my God.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say.
Great. Yeah, you're only the president.
As an example.
It's good that you're careless with your
essentially
words.
No autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen.
Oh, God.
Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you can't tough it out, or if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it.
Why
the
are
other
they?
Thing that I can tell
I don't
you
even
that
know.
I'll say
I don't even understand what the purpose of this is. This is just like
this
is just a way to f people over. That's it. It's just pure bad. I can't even see any profit upsides for any company in this process. You know what I mean? Only downsides. Let's f it up aggressively. Who gives a shit?
Beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel.
What I feel. My
mumps,
feelings.
Measles. Hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So I would say wait till the baby is 12 years old and formed and take hepatitis B. And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country.
Unless they're born vaginally.
Potential benefits
stop.
and reduce
You don't
symptoms,
understand.
To
We're
the
making
many
them
parents
born
with autistic
not
children
vaginally.
When the alternative is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the Advils and others, right? And they've been proven bad.
Kenvue going to have mad lawsuits for him using the Tylenol brand
there's a
mainly
rumor,
for this?
and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism, okay? Tell me about that one.
What? They have paracetamol, dude. They have a paracetamol substitute. What the f? It can only good happen.
There's a lot of
but my
common sense
autism
in
is the
this,
problem.
But I'd like to be a little bit more, a little speedier in the process of a recommendation because there's no harm in going quickly.
Dude, this is so cooked. We are at the mercy of madmen. We are at the mercy of madmen. Once again, the dumbest, most hysterical losers in American society are getting their wishes be heard and turning it into government mandate. We are at the mercy of the most insane people, dude, whether it be evangelical Christians when it comes to abortion and numerous other hysterics that this administration listens to, or whether it be all of the anti-vax cranks and their consistent advocacy that has led to RFK Jr. becoming a permanent fixture of the administration. That's what this is. They're literally giving red meat to like key constituencies of their base, and they all happen to be schizophrenic hallucinators.
Today, we are announcing two important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions. First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism.
What do I say, man? What do you say to this? What do you say to this? What do you say to this? It's so cooked. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. We're literally, his brainworm is running the health initiatives in this government.
Pregnancy, HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment in the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required.
Oh, so they can have a little bit of autism, I guess? Is that what it is?
We expect this to be the first of many announcements over the coming years that deliver actionable information to parents on underlying causes of autism
beacon of health, baby.
For prevention and reversal. Finally, autism is a complex disorder with multifactorial etiology. We are continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas of taboo. One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines.
You want to know the worst part of this? People are talking about his hand, right? These assholes never actually take the anti-science, anti-medicine rhetoric to heart. When doctors come to them and say, this is what you got to do, they don't go, no, actually, I'm going to inject bleach. That's the worst part about this, because they don't even practice what they preach, bro. Because if they did, they wouldn't be here for long. RFK does? Yeah, well, he's on the verge of collapse. Exactly. Out of these through this piece of shit, by the way, is a real doctor. So for him to also play this song and dance is, of course, expected, considering if you know his background, you know that he was already prosecuted for selling snake oil. But he's a real doctor. It's crazy. He knows exactly what these kinds of idiotic decisions are going to lead to. But he doesn't give a because I'm sure he has a stake or something in whatever they're presenting as the cure to autism.
Given this wide range of symptoms across the spectrum, it seems certain that there will be a wide range of biological contributors to explaining the cause. The great thing about the new NIH initiative on autism is that scientists will use rigorous advanced methods in causal inference, machine learning, organoids, and other fresh approaches to the problem.
They're gonna
the sharp rise in the prevalence of autism deserves
machine
an
learning.
urgent response by the scientific community. For too long, it's been taboo to ask some questions for fear the scientific work might reveal a politically incorrect answer.
Oh my God!
Because of this restricted focus, the answers for families have been similarly restricted,
from autism research.
And we are not going to stop so that we can end the suffering we are watching. And if you've seen a kid with autism, with severe autism, it's hard to watch. Kids get frustrated, they get angry, they can be crying because they want to speak and they can't speak. It's hard to watch, and it may be entirely preventable. For an epidemiologist, that child is an expanding statistic, but for a child,
also need to understand something here. Not only is this like not a curable disease, but it's also not like a severe setback. So the way that they're presenting this as a curable disease is only going to stigmatize people with autism further. It's nutty. This is just like, it's just eugenics, it seems like. What if they find autism to be inherited? I mean, it is inherited. Will they start a sterilization campaign? Hope not.
A study out of Hopkins actually showed that treating a fever can prolong the duration of illness in a young kid. Maybe that's because a fever is a body's natural way of ridding an infection.
Wait.
When my wife was pregnant,
this guy's a doctor. Ain't no way.
pushed her to take
How?
acetaminophen for a
How is
low-grade
that
fever.
possible? Bro,
Again,
some
we have a
fevers,
duty to
if
let
left
doctors and the public
unaddressed
know. So you're
with
gonna
medical
change the label to make
intervention,
it available.
can cause permanent brain damage and even kill people. What the are we talking about, dude?
In a very accelerated manner, we have a response today to the autism crisis. It is the first of several chapters, but this is breaking news. You've heard some of it. The response to the autism crisis is going to continue to come to you.
I can't believe how many people are television guys, by the way. Dr. Ross, even RFK Jr. This is the podcast, their television administration
is approving prescription leucovorin for treatment of autistic children. Researcher, we spoke to many, thought it would take 5 years to get this data. Parents are unwilling to wait 5 years. The president is unwilling to wait 5 years for these results. So the president and the secretary are acting today with this tri-agency move. The administration's bold actions investing in groundbreaking research follow the science. They restore trust, which has been lacking, and they will change the trajectory for millions of American families. Mr. President, God bless you for being brave.
Bro, they're talking about autism like it's like AIDS. They're talking about autism like it just like kills you. If you have the tism, you're cooked. And not just like have, you know, varying degrees of hyperfixations on trains and shit, you know what I mean? Or you're like a numbers guy.
Information that challenges the status quo.
Same with men kissing. Please stop. Some kids have it worse than you know. Shut the f up. I do know. That's why I said to varying degrees. It can be debilitating, but it's simply not a f***ing disease. Yelling at Hassan won't help when you have the president and staff up there straight up lying about it. The administration is like one step removed from putting all autistic people that they've branded as autistic into camps where they sterilize them by force. And there are parents in here with autistic children yelling at me because I didn't like sufficiently talk about some of the worst aspects of this spectrum.
I have a son who's 5 who is profoundly autistic. And you've probably heard if you've met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. It's a spectrum, which I don't think the spectrum is helpful, but that's another conversation.
She's just dunking on her kid, bro. I got a 5-year-old with the full-blown tism.
I can't, no one has been able to point to anything to say this is what caused it, and you can't point to that and say it didn't cause it. I have no idea. I'm completely open, not blaming anything, but I'm open to the discussion and the fact that there's work being done to find answers. I'm very grateful. I was already excited to vote for Mr. Trump anyway, Mr. President. But when we got word of RFK doing his work, I was ecstatic. I could not wait for this work to be done, that somebody would try to find us some answers for my son
according
every
to
day.
Trump, it's because you fucking ate Tylenol when you were pregnant. How does that work? Yeah, you did this seemingly horrible thing to your child because you presented as this horrible disease that you've inflicted upon your child.
So extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here and share my son's story. My son is Eddie. He's 11. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum from what Amanda just explained. He's considered high functioning. He was not always high functioning. He was nonverbal till the age 4.
High functioning, low functioning is the older terminology that used to be used. I think they changed it. There's always patches on this stuff, but it just means that like high functioning just means that you don't need like a lot of assistance in terms of like socializing. You don't have like significant medical, significant dietary restrictions, things of that nature. I think the new meta is to say like support needs or something, right? It's full blown. Read a health journal.
And hopefully.
Yeah,
we just get more answers.
Autism.
So, thank you. Thank you very much.
So I just want to say acetaminophen is basically Tylenol, essentially, because I noticed that term is used throughout this conference. So it's essentially Tylenol. And I just recommend strongly.
What's the smoke that these motherfuckers have for Johnson & Johnson, dude? They are just like, seems like they're just singling Johnson & Johnson out as like Tylenol making you autistic. Don't take it. There's other acetaminophen generics out there.
Fight like hell not to take
like,
it.
I have it right
there
here.
There may be a point where you have to, and that you have to work out with yourself.
This is why I have the full-blown
Other
tism.
things that we recommend, or certainly I do, don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby, even if it's
delicate
2
little
years,
body
3 years,
of a
4
baby.
years
I'm
visits
doing
to the
it.
doctor instead of 1. And
For
certain
my
things
neck
I think
pain.
you should do.
And guess what?
Hepatitis B again.
I'm pregnant. I'm pregante. I'm mpreg. And I just took some acetaminophen, dude. You already know. I'm trying to make sure my next of kin, this baby that's coming out of my butt, is going to be the most autistic.
Common sense. And they have that too.
Mega autism.
They have that. Don't give Tylenol to the baby after the baby's born. Every time the baby gets a shot, the baby gets a shot. They say, here, take a cup of Tylenol. I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't have your baby take Tylenol.
Don't do it, baby. Don't do it, baby. Tough it out, baby.
When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol at all, unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't do it.
What is this?
Break
was that
up your
even a
visits
part?
to the doctors.
Was
Break
that
them
even a
up.
part
Do
of
it
what the
in 5
doctors
if
were
you
saying?
can.
I
No,
mean,
it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient.
I made the
No, you're gonna
mistake
have
of
to go
claiming the
back, 'cause I
doctors
think
are
you're late.
saying
You're gonna
this.
go back because it's too much liquid. Too many different things are going into that baby at too big a
many
number.
liquids are going
the
into
size
the
of this
baby.
thing, when you look at it,
He's
it's 80 different
freestyling.
vaccines and beyond vaccines, and 80.
Too many liquids
Then
to
you give
the
that to a
baby.
little kid. I had a woman who worked for me, a beautiful, wonderful woman, worked in Trump Tower, and she had the most perfect child, beautiful.
But then the baby
And I
was
remember
hit
this
with
little
a full-blown
blonde-haired boy running around the
autism.
lobby of Trump Tower, so healthy and so vibrant.
And then he got
And
the
I said, "That's
Tylenol.
great."
One
And one
Tylenol
day,
and the baby is
I came in and she
autistic.
was crying, her eyes
He
out
keeps
behind the
talking
counter.
about trains and planes.
She was. She worked at the front desk. She was crying her eyes out. I've never, as much as I've ever seen anyone distraught, she was. I said, "Are you okay? What happened?" My boy, I've lost my boy. What does that mean, your boy? My boy, you know him, sir. You've seen him grow up. He was so beautiful. And I took him for a vaccine, sir. And he developed this unbelievable, I think she said 107, 108. You know, it goes well beyond when this happens. It goes up to 106, 107, 108. You know, we hear 105 and you're in trouble, but it just goes up to a level that you never hear about, but it goes up very high. And it's fried. They get fried. She said, I took him, he developed an unbelievable temperature. And I've lost him, sir. He's gone. And then I saw the boy. It was so tragic to see. That was the following day after the vaccine. And I've seen it 2 other times, and I think 3 other times, but 2 other times, where they go to the doctor and they get the vaccine, they get the shot. The kid is, badly hurt. Let's be nice, badly hurt. Just do it. Break it up into 5. Break it up into 4. Break it up into 3 if you have to.
What
but
is
go to
this
the
guy
doctor 4
saying?
times
Like,
instead
this
of
is
once
literally
or 5 times.
the president
And say,
giving
maybe that's
medical
the drug
advice
companies that make money.
as opposed to
Maybe
the
it's
doctors.
'cause they don't
And
so
he's just
much.
talking
Maybe
out
it
of his
was-
ass. He's
maybe it's the doctors.
freestyling.
It's practically a known fact that if you break it up, you're not going to have a problem. But for years, we've been hearing how bad MMR is as a combination.
No,
and I'm
we
very
haven't.
happy that you broke out chickenpox because that was
we
really
haven't.
a problem.
No, that's not
And there
a
are
thing
other
that we've
things.
been
It's interesting
hearing.
'cause there are other things.
Hear other things.
And I was so proud. I called a news conference. I said, drug prices have gone down. First time it's happened in 28 years. You know what it was? 0.25%. I was so proud. Now we're going to have them go down from $100 a pill to $9 a pill. From $1,300 for a shot of like an Ozempic or I call it the fat pill or the fat drug. Sometimes it works, I guess, for people. The ones I've seen, it hasn't worked so well. I got a lot of friends, they're fat. They said, yeah, I lost some weight. I said, you don't look it to me.
Oh,
but
my
they pay
God.
$1,300, $1,200, and they go to London and they pay $88. And they call me, they go, what's this all about? We're subsidizing the rest of the world stupidly because we have a lot of stupid people in this country running things.
Okay.
And how
He's
big
never
is that?
coming
But
after
to me,
Zen
that's
'cause he
nothing compared
consumes
to. Okay, how about a few questions? Let's just make it on this subject. This is so beyond as a subject that I'd rather not talk about, some nonsense on
This
the
is so
economy.
important.
And I
Don't
will
make
say
me
this,
ramble. I
the
will
economy
ramble.
is unbelievable. The stock market just hit another record high and all that stuff. This means more to me. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, I have one on your announcement, one on vaccines that's also related.
Yes.
Why do you think we haven't heard more previously about the tie to
Woke.
autism and acetaminophen?
Nobody
woke.
knows. I don't know. Not only that, when you say it, you get attacked. I was saying something similar, not as strongly, because now facts are on our side. But I was saying it with Bobby 20 years ago, and I was attacked. I said, whoa, what was that all about?
Trump has always been a vaccine skeptic and talked about how too many vaccines is what causes autism. He used to say that all the time.
I believe that the numbers at the end of our term or shortly thereafter could be really phenomenal. I want it to go up just like it came down to this horrible level. 1 in 10, 1 in 12. I was told 1 in 10. I was told 1 in 12. Today I heard 1 in 31 if you add the girls and the boys together. It's crazy. And it was 1 in 10,000 and 1 in 20,000. It's not even sustainable for a country. You want to know the truth. And there are other places that don't have it.
That's not true.
And that's called medical
That's literally
research.
not true. If there are no autism diagnoses taking place, that is a matter of diagnostics, not a matter of there's no autism in those countries. And considering that this is seen as a spectrum in terms of like the social component, many people that have it, including like older generations of people that have it, might not even know that they have it. Back in the day, look, this is broad. This is very broad, right? Back in the day, when someone was autistic, they would just go, he's a little weird. Okay, that's it. Especially if they were like low needs or low support needs autistic. They would just go, that guy likes math. That guy's a little weird. It is what it is. That's it. And then they would lobotomize the people with high support needs. That's how they used to do it back then. Now, obviously, that wasn't great either. Okay, but that was it. They would just be like, oh, he's eccentric, you know? Yeah, your grandmother that collects spoons, just a little eccentric. Your uncle that loves model trains, just a little eccentric. That's it. The idea that this is like not seen elsewhere is just a matter of diagnostics. And considering that this is not like a disease or anything, like it's just more so a matter of normalizing. It's just more so a matter of normalizing the way that the way that people deal with autism that they have, and also other people that have a better way of socializing with people who have autism.
But here's the thing, there's no downside to doing, other than a mother will have to, as I say, tough it out a little bit. There's no downside to doing this. It's not like, oh, if you do this, you're going
there's
to
no
die.
downsides to the unlimited amount of unsubstantiated medical skepticism that we just presented. And also the fact that I even doubled down on another unsubstantiated, totally ridiculous statement about vaccines. No downsides whatsoever to vaccine skepticism, except for previously combated diseases coming back because people are just not going to get vaccinated for it.
And there's no downside to doing it. Now, it's possible that you can reduce them and give it. I'd give them in small doses, but it's possible maybe in that particular case, the MMR wouldn't work in small doses, but you can certainly give them as separate shots. It's been proven to be very safe when you give them in separate shots instead of mixing. So I don't think there's any reason to do that. Do you agree with it? I'm not a doctor, but I'm giving my opinion. I don't think there's any reason to do that. So it's been proven to be safe when you break them up. But MMR by itself, I've heard bad things about it for many years. Yes, please.
That's a great way to end that conversation. I'm not a doctor. Why am I giving my opinion? A question we are all asking.
I believe, with the wars, I've stopped 7 different wars. I've saved millions of lives. I've done a lot of things. This will be
I thought
as
we weren't
important
talking
as
about
any
other
single
shit.
thing,
Turns out we
know
are.
what
Do
I
they
look
just
like.
want
I
a
would have been
mountain
president
of
a long time
litigation?
ago.
Is that what it is? Like, what the were they thinking with this?
Yeah, Brian.
Medical professionals have warned
No,
for decades.
I said, no, not you. You're CNN. You're fake news. Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to go back to the Amish community, if I can, just for a second. I recently saw a man from Minnesota, an Amish man from Minnesota, on a podcast, and the host asked him what the rates were for like ADHD and autism, and he had no idea about ADHD.
Oh my God, Theo
didn't know
Vaughn.
that existed.
Oh my God, it's because of Theo Vaughn. Oh my God, Theo Vaughn is literally, oh no.
Do they have ADD in the Amish community?
So I don't even, do you know what is ADD? I'm not even quite sure.
And they don't take all of this junk.
Dude, they don't go to the f***ing doctor. That doesn't mean that they don't have autism. What the f*** is going on, bro? Oh my God. Yeah, if they don't go to the f***ing doctor, then they don't know if they have f***ing autism or ADHD. It's that simple. What the f***?
It's not. And we know
It's like literally before the first autism diagnosis, nobody had autism. Yeah, I guess nobody. No, it doesn't mean that nobody had autism. It just means that nobody was diagnosed with autism. Yeah, at a time when everyone was dying by the age of 10, but when kids were just dropping before vaccines, when kids were dropping before the age of 10, nobody knew why they were dying, but they were dying for some reason. They were dying, but they were healthy. They didn't have autism. Oh my God, bro. I mean, let's be real. This was like, what was the alternative? You know, what's the alternative? Of course, this was going to happen. And this is just the beginning, too. It's going to get even worse than this. You let the fucking madmen run the asylum, and this is what's going to happen. I guess, like, in some ways, I thought that while liberal capitalism is in decline, corporate interests would still offer some significant setbacks to this administration accelerating the decline, you know, because, like, you just don't want, it's not good for even the capital owners if, like, people are this stupid, right? If they're anti-science, anti-medicine to this degree, it's still not good for the profit margins, right? But it turns out there's nothing people can do. These guys are just going to do whatever the fuck they want. I cannot believe it. It feels so insane that this is the administration. This is the government. This is the president. These are the people running the FDA and the CDC and the HHS. This PhD organic chemistry guy says, RFK Jr. is set to announce Tylenol causes autism, and then it'll push to cure leucovorin, folinic acid. Who sells folinic acid? Dr. Oz's supplement company, iHerb. We're so unimaginably cooked. Here's the most recent and largest study I could find. Folinic acid modestly reduced autism severity in a 2024 RCT with the biggest gains in kids with folate receptor autoantibodies. Safe, but the benefit, give or take 1 point on CARS, may be too small to be clinically meaningful. A 24-week double-blind trial tested high-dose folinic acid in 80 children with autism ages 2 to 10. Both placebo and treatment groups improved. A million studies that prove that Tylenol is the least consequential anti-inflammatory drug that pregnant parents can take doesn't mean anything. One study on the opposite side that says folinic acid could be helpful in reducing some of the aspects of autism, then, you know, all systems go. I don't know. I just don't know what to say. What an insane situation we found ourselves in. I mean, it's expected, but it still feels crazy when you're watching it unfold, you know?